Hello, I am Keith Heinley, Vice President of Community Impact here at United Way. Just a few comments before we get started. One of the things that I manage here at United Way related to health are the Mayor's Fitness Challenge, which has now ended for this year, and I'm not going to give away any spoilers right now. That'll happen on the 9th. The other program that I operate here under a grant is the Affordable Care Act Navigator program to help people find affordable health insurance. And just to let everybody know, if an individual makes between 100% and 150% of federal poverty level, they can sign up right now as if it is open enrollment. So if you know anybody who needs health insurance, please have them contact one of our navigators. And the number to call, I will put in the chat, 321-615-3764. Today, we're talking about nutrition, and we have 3 presenters, and with those presenters, basically asking them to share information regarding healthy nutrition, how that information affects health of the low-income community in Brevard County, and also any information specific to their services. And I will now hand it off to Angelica so she can get us started. Then after Angelica, we will then move on to our next presenter, who I will announce as soon as Angelica is done.
All right, well, good morning. Thank you, everyone. My name is Angelica Keane, and I work for the University of Florida Extension Office. And I have the privilege of representing health and nutrition. So I'm not sure how familiar you guys are. I should be able to see my screen with the extension services. But today's agenda, kind of what I'm going to talk about, is we're going to go over a little introduction to what is the extension office. I know some of you on this call already are familiar with us because you guys have partnered and worked with us in the past. But for those of you that haven't yet, it'll just be a very quick broad overview. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the nutrition services and programs that we offer. I have an intern with me here from Kaiser University. She's going to talk a little bit about dietetics and internships and things like that. And then I'll just do a quick, here's how to access us. So a little bit about the University of Florida Extension Office. We are what we call the cooperative extension, meaning that we're a partnership between the federal, the state, and the county. And what's cool about that is there's actually a cooperative extension in every single state, as well as in every single county. So now it looks different in different states, but in the state of Florida, that's the structure. And so here's kind of the funding sources. We're funded out of the federal USDA, and then that funding is given to the state of Florida for land grants, and then down to our local Brevard County. And so what's interesting about that and what makes that important to understand is that you don't get that top-down priority, meaning that because there's as much funding from the local as the state, everything is geared towards that local education. So even though we have the backing of University of Florida and all of the research and all of the research of other universities across the United States being in this cooperative extension standpoint, the service is specifically designed for our residents, meaning that our programs are only what our individuals want to learn about, see about. So it varies by county what being offered. So for example, a lot of our nutrition classes and programs that we'll dive into are tailored just for us. But an example that's easy to understand is like, we don't do huge livestock in this Brevard County. As you can see, there are some cows and stuff around, but there's not, ginormous cattle farms everywhere. There's a few, but very few. So we don't offer a lot of individualized cattle programs, as you in conjunction with, say, or things like that that have more of like the cows everywhere. So that's just one example of like where it's tailored. So specifically, some of our nutrition education programs is, as I stated, we are community-based education. So we're evidence-based, but we're geared towards the community. So there's no college credit. So our classes talk about like basic nutrition education. We generally try to stick to the My Plate component. We offer a lot of cooking classes, how to cook, cooking in an instant, canning classes, but we try to expand past that in nutrition and think that what you eat is just as important as how you eat it, when you eat it, things like that. So we also try to incorporate mindful eating. And we do this through creative ways because most people don't want to come to a mindful eating class, or, they might think they do, but, they don't really want to listen to it more than like 5 or 10 minutes. So charcuterie boards are so popular right now. We actually do a whole charcuterie board class, but sneakily it's designed to, the entire class is structured as mindfulness. It's just done in a creative and fun way. But so that's kind of a way we try to personalize and individualize our programs and offerings. So specifically, something that's unique to our county that isn't offered elsewhere, that geared directly towards that low income component. So we know as food prices increase and gas prices increase, everybody is having a harder time eating healthy. And it's not necessarily because prices are so much more expensive. It's just because, food spoils quicker. And so you have to kind of weigh that, do you get the canned, do you get the fresh? What do you do? And so we do a lot of classes of eating on a budget as well. But in addition to that, we run 2 farmers market, and the farmers markets are really cool, especially because they're local products, meaning that our farmers market are not the big, huge farmers markets or fairs where anybody can just go to Plant City and buy whatever product they want and bring it to our farmers market. Our farmers market is designed with 2 purposes. One, to provide local vendors with an avenue to sell, meaning so that each one of our vendors either makes or produces 50% of their product in Central Florida. So ideally, you have to live and actually be growing your produce, or, maybe you're jamming your jams and jellies. We have a rub, like seasonings kind of thing. And all of that, we have seafood, vendors, and all of those produce, package at least 50% of their product within like our local area. And so this is important because it's money and residents from our county to our county. And then in addition to that, we have what we call the Fresh Access Bucks. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with that program. So the Fresh Access Bucks program is if individuals that are on SNAP, which is, basically the food assistance program, can actually come in and they can swipe their EBT card and they actually double their funds. So they can double their funds up to $40 per day. So for example, if they come in and say, hey, I want to buy $40 worth of, products from your vendors, from your farmers market, we actually match that with an additional $40 specifically for fresh fruits and vegetables, specifically for green products, specifically for those fresh contents, those farmers, those things that, maybe may take more than, a couple dollars to purchase. So, batch of tomatoes, maybe, $3-4, they've got the extra dollars within it. So they can stretch their money a lot further, keeping that money in that local community of those growing it and selling it here locally, as well as those being able to buy it. And we actually have 2 locations to try to service the residents. The first one is our longest running one, and that's at Wickham Park in Melbourne. It's at the Pavilion, and it's every single Thursday from 3 to 6. And we know that time isn't always the greatest, but we do, and during summertime, being that it is lighter, generally sometimes extend the hours out during summer to accommodate for that too. And then twice a month, we offer a market in downtown Titusville. And we started that in the sense that a lot of the North area residents said, Melbourne's so far, we would really like these same fresh fruits and vegetables, this access, but, we can't travel to Melbourne. So we have an agreement with the city of Titusville and Titusville Chamber to bring them twice a month on the second and fourth Friday to have that same market in. And it's a lot of the same vendors. There are a few that don't travel, but majority of them do. And what's nice is, again, you get that double bucks dollar. And so all money is going back to residents that live here, as well as the residents that live here that need that additional funding and support. So I'm going to turn it over at this point to Adrienne, and she is our intern from Kaiser University, and she's going to dive into a little bit about the nutrition education portion of this presentation.
Thank you so much, Angelica. Good morning, everyone. My name is Adrienne Bussico. I'm the dietetic intern from Kaiser University, and today I'm going to let you know what we do, a little bit of how nutrition is affected in the community, and how you could contact services for a dietitian. So first, at Kaiser University, we learn to perform nutrition-focused physical exam where we look for signs of malnutrition and muscle wasting. We're taught to analyze patient history, labs, and physical exam results to provide proper nutrition counseling and correct any deficiencies found therein. This is considered medical nutrition therapy and was actually recently officially made only accessible by dietitians. So your local gym nutritionist has to become a registered dietitian in order to be able to provide medical nutrition therapy to anyone. So I want you to think of nutrition in the terms of a car for a minute. So if you have your standard sedan and you put diesel fuel in your car, it's not going to run right. And the same rings true for our bodies. There's a misconception that healthy food is more money, and that rings true when you're eating out. But if you're making your meals at home, generally you can actually make plates for much cheaper than what it would cost to buy out all the time, fried foods and so forth. The prepackaged foods, the convenience foods, that's where you get into trouble. Those meals too often do much more harm than good. The body will not run right as it's not getting the correct fuel, which will then lead to illness. And then, of course, that leads to the consumer having to take time off of work, which then leaves them in a position of having even less money. And the cycle just continues on, feeling that they can't afford the healthy food. So how do you go ahead and get to see a dietitian? Well, if you pay out of pocket for your services, there is absolutely no limit to how often you can see your dietitian. You can just go ahead and make an appointment. However, if you want to go through insurance, there are avenues to be covered by insurance. You have to have a medical diagnosis from a doctor stating that you need dietetic services. And with that, you get a referral, and you can then go ahead and see your dietitian for whatever's necessary. Generally, renal patients and diabetic patients, insurance companies don't really give any trouble over. Other dietetic services, it is up to the insurance provider as to what they decide to cover. So your best bet is to go for out-of-pocket services, and often enough, dietetic services are not very expensive. You usually only see a dietitian maybe once or twice a month, depending on your condition. So it's really just depending on the dietitian, around $35 per visit, I would say. And then you come back and see them again a few months later or a month later, depending on your schedule. Usually you can find your dietitian services online, and they'll have a list of dietitians that are registered and licensed in your area that you can choose from. And that's the conclusion. Thank you so much.
So yeah, we, like I said, at the University of Florida, we do very basic nutrition education. We don't individualize it or personalize it, but as you can see, we do work with registered dietitians that do sometimes. So it's good to understand just what service you're getting, and as you hear from these different professionals throughout what kind of services you're looking for too, and how you're dividing into your nutrition. So this is how to contact the University of Florida Extension Office. This is our website, as well as our email address, address, as well as our phone number. So if you ever have any questions about or interested in taking any of our classes, that's how to get in touch with us. So that was just kind of a real quick broad overview. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And I believe we hold questions to the end, Keith, if I remember correctly, the flow. So I'll let him take it away.
Yep, appreciate it. And, and feel free if you have a question that you just can't wait to jump in. But I will pass it on over now to Laurie Conlon, who is the Brevard Public Schools Nutrition Manager, and let her continue from this point.
Good morning, everybody. So as Keith said, I'm the district nutrition manager for Brevard Public Schools, and I do a lot of the menu planning and procurement of the foods that are served to our students. But I wanted to talk today about how we promote nutrition and healthy eating in the schools. And since the schools participate in the National School Breakfast and Lunch programs, these are programs that are USDA programs, and the meal patterns that we have to abide by are based on dietary guidelines for Americans, which promote healthy eating. The basis of the dietary guidelines is to counsel the public on how to eat healthy throughout the lifespan and prevent chronic diseases. So the basis of the programs that we're offering in the school for breakfast and lunch are based on the guidelines, and then in themselves, they are promoting healthy eating. So when students go through the breakfast or lunch line, they're getting healthy choices of foods. We order foods in that are specific to K-12 and schools, because they are foods that are made to meet the guidelines that we need to follow in these meal programs. The guidelines are looking at the amount of calories in the foods, the amount of sugars in the foods, the fats, the fat content, saturated fat, trans fats, all the things that we know if you are eating too many of certain fats, too much of certain fats or sugars, these are not healthy eating habits. So the foods that are offered to the students are regulated, and the content of those types of things. So they're not being offered foods that are harmful to their health, and they're eating healthy foods when they're at school. When the students come through the lunch line, we have a DOT program, which labels each food with a color, and it indicates what type of food it is. So if it's protein or grain or fruit, vegetable, and milk. And in order to receive a meal, the student is encouraged to take and must take an entree plus a fruit or a vegetable. They have to have a fruit or a vegetable with their meal at the very least. So, and students learn that at a very early age when they start in kindergarten. When they come through the lunch line, they're told they have to take a fruit or a vegetable. So as they grow up and they're in the school through high school, they're learning I should have a fruit or a vegetable with my meal. And it's the same at breakfast, except for we don't have the requirement for the vegetable. We have, you must take a fruit or a juice with your breakfast. So going through the lunch line in itself is a learning experience in healthy eating for the students. We have a lot of other programs in the school that promote healthy eating as well. We do something at the elementary level that's called Try It. And we've actually partnered with the UF Extension office on this program to bring nutrition education to our young students. And we promote a specific fruit or a vegetable on the serving line. And we have information, fun facts about this fruit or vegetable posted on the line so they can learn about what they're eating. And we make it fun and colorful, and some, cute facts that the students can learn quickly as they go through the line, and then they get to eat that food as well. We try to have some different items that students may not be exposed to at home. We've done things like star fruit, and just different. We've done dragon fruit, things that the students may not have at home. And they're a little bit different, and it's something brand new to them. So, and it's fun to see all the reactions, and we've done surveys of the students to see what they think of the fruit or vegetable that we have as our try it. And a lot of them are surprised that they like it based on maybe what it looks like, but they're always willing to try, and it's a fun thing for the students. We also have school gardens at some of our schools, and we help to have some of the harvest be served on the serving line, and the students learn about that particular item all the way from seed to table. So that's another great learning experience for the students in our schools. In the older grades, we've gone into Hope classes, and it's always available to have different nutrition topics discussed. We have 3 dietitians in the district that can go in and teach classes on different topics. We've done, for example, sugary beverages for high school students to try to teach them about empty calories and beverage choices, and not having too many sugary beverages, not only to help their teeth, keep the teeth healthy, but also limit the calories, and encouraging getting nutrient dense beverages and water as a part of their daily diet, as opposed to sodas and other sugary beverages. Let me see. Another thing too is we do offer a la carte items in the school, and they are also regulated by something called Smart Snack Guidelines. And similar to how school breakfast and lunch programs are, they don't have what the same snacks that you may buy in the store may have as far as nutritional content. So they're going to have more whole grains, less sugar, not as much saturated fat. We have specific items that we carry in the schools that are available for purchase from the students. So they're surrounded by healthier options when they're in the school setting, which is a learning experience in itself. So those are some of the things that we do. And as far as what our meal programs do for the children of Brevard, we're focused on feeding as many children in Brevard that we can, because we know that healthy eating and just having meals available to our students helps them to learn better. So there are many studies that have been done to say that a hungry student doesn't learn well. So our programs are meant to touch as many students and children of Brevard as possible. So not only do we have school breakfast and lunch programs, but we have snack programs and after school, and we try to, and we also do summer feeding in the summer. So when students may not have access to healthy meals, they can come get a healthy meal at a summer school site. So, and that's just filling that gap of when the student who may only get healthy meals when they're at school. So when school's not in session, they can still do that. So that's a big goal of ours, is to touch as many students as we can and try to have as much participation in our programs as we can to ensure that they have the nutrition they need to learn and do their best in school. And then also just have good nutrition throughout the lifespan. And Keith, I think that's all I had to say.
All right, thank you. Very much appreciated. And while you're talking, it reminded me, now we have a number of these virtual classes stored up, and even though we have been posting them on Facebook, I'm thinking that since we have a lot to choose from now, I think I'm going to go ahead and set up probably a scenario where we can start sharing all of these videos on YouTube as well. So,
Great.
right, moving on to Cara Toledo, Florida Department of Health WIC program.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Cara Toledo. I'm the Brevard County WIC coordinator for the WIC program. WIC is the supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children. The program has been around. I have a PowerPoint presentation. Let me share my screen real quick. Let me see. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
You might want to
It's
change
It's
it.
a PowerPoint presentation of the WIC program. So,
There you go. You got it.
okay. So just an overview about WIC. WIC is a federally funded program for women, infants, and children up to age 5. We, let's see. So it's the history, it's got a long history since 1972, as you can see, was started, piloted for the supplemental program, food program. And then the first site opened up in Kentucky in January of 1974. You know, it's evolved each year. The program keeps evolving and growing. You can see it does have a lengthy history of different programs. We offer a breastfeeding peer counselor initiative, started in 2004. So we do have peer counselors also, in addition to our breastfeeding staff that are either licensed lactation staff or certified lactation counselors. So you can see there's a lot of history there. Some facts: more than half of the infants in the U.S. Participate in WIC. Pregnancy outcome, particularly birth weight, is improved for program participants. WIC encourages early prenatal care for women. Our goal is to get them in their first trimester onto the program. It improves the dietary intake of pregnant women and children. So, our nutrition education is tailored to our clients. We offer nutrition education throughout the program. Every time they interact, anytime clients interact with us, we give them some piece of nutrition education, whether it be from the senior clerks who see them to issue their benefits, or when they're coming in to do a certification. The process, they go through some eligibility requirements, which I'll talk about in a minute, but then we also do their height, weight, and hemoglobin as part of the program. And then we will do a nutrition assessment with each client and then tailor their counseling and nutrition education based on their individual needs. So just going back a little bit. So we do reduce the incidences of low birth weight babies. We reduce infant mortality. We reduce the incidence of anemia in children, because we do look at hemoglobin in children to assess iron. And then we improve access to children's dental care services as well. And WIC provides all of these services at no cost to the client, as long as they're eligible. They can receive the services. So you receive healthy foods, nutrition education and counseling, breastfeeding promotion, education and support, and referrals to healthcare and community services. So Like I said, WIC is women, infants, and children. So it can be pregnant women, pregnant postpartum women, breastfeeding women up to 12 months if they're breastfeeding, and infants, and then children up to age 5. Who's eligible? So like I said, pregnant women, breastfeeding women, let's see, postpartum women up to 6 months, but if you're breastfeeding up to 12 months, infants, and then children up to age 5. The benefits for the foods, we offer so many different benefits, and these food benefits are tailored to the individual client on WIC. The foods that are offered by the program are based on the dietary guidelines for healthy Americans. And these food benefits are evaluated every year, and new things are added, and other like cereals might be taken off. So they do a survey every year of program participants and kind of surveying what's being used. We also, with the WIC program, we have access to a lot of data. So we can see, the state office will see, okay, this cereal is not really being purchased by WIC. Maybe we will take this one off, but add a couple other items. So that does happen sometimes. I know since I've been with the program, I started with WIC in 2011, it's grown so much. They've added the fruits and vegetable dollars. They've expanded the cereals, expanded the whole grains that can be available. The whole grain options now, there's brown rice, corn tortillas, whole wheat bread, whole wheat pasta. Also, they allow for quinoa and some of the, so lots of great choices. And then let's see, we also offer formula for babies who are not breastfeeding. And recently the federal government passed a increase in the food voucher for the fruits and vegetable dollars. I can go over that briefly in a few minutes. But who qualifies for WIC? Anybody who is on Medicaid, also food stamps or cash assistance would qualify for Medicaid. I mean for WIC. And then let's see who also qualifies. All foster children would qualify for the program. Children that are in temporary custody, children with special needs, also I would qualify. These are our latest income guidelines for this year. So you can kind of see it's based on a household size, and then the annual, monthly, bi-monthly, bi-weekly amount per household. So it is considered at 180% of the poverty level. So it's a little bit higher than food stamps. So, sometimes clients don't realize, or people in the community don't realize that they might be eligible for this program. In fact, right now, about 65% of eligible percentage of eligible served in our community is about 65%. That's what I'm trying to say. Our caseload right now is about 10,000 in enrollment, and participation is just a little over 9,000. Where's WIC? WIC is throughout the United States. It's in 34 Indian tribal organizations: America Samoa, District of Columbia, Guam, Commonwealth of North American Islands, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, and military installations worldwide. So WIC is in a lot of different places. Our county has 3 main locations in Melbourne, Viera, and Titusville. And then we do have for satellite locations. During COVID, we did suspend our operations going to these satellite locations. The USDA has given us a federal physical presence waiver. So we've been able to serve clients via their choice remotely, over the phone, or in person. So we give our clients the option right now of services, but hopefully we will go back. Oh, and there's one other site. The other site is in Palm Bay. So I forgot to add that to my slide. And then we also give out breast pumps. We have many different kinds of pumps available to with clients. We have manual hand pumps, single user electric pumps, and then multi-user electric pumps. And let's see, the Brevard Wic program does impact our community. Approximately about $8 million of the food benefits were redeemed over the past year. It actually may even be a little bit higher than this amount. Let's see. And then it also saves each individual family member money, and a significant impact for Brevard County economy. Let's see. So we do partner with lots of different agencies in the community. We partner with Healthy Start, Head Start, Brevard 211, Help Me Grow. We do have Kaiser interns that come in. We partner with grandparents raising grandchildren. And so we do network. And then there's also Nurse Family Partnership, Healthy Start. So lots of different agencies that we do partner with. Also dental, immunizations, local churches, different homeless coalitions we'll partner with, the pediatricians, OBGYN offices. So we do like WIC, and so that's just a little bit of the basics surrounding WIC. Let me get out of that. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to share is, hold on, let me share this other screen, this one. You can see this is the current bill that was signed recently, and it allows for children to get a $24, and this is a monthly increase amount for fruits and vegetable dollars. And then pregnant women and postpartum women can get $43. Fully breastfeeding, partially breastfeeding women are getting $47. So you can see there's a huge benefit to this that our clients have been receiving, and it's really helped with access to improving intake of fruits and vegetable dollars. Intake of fruits and vegetables. So I'm hoping to see in the future, though, some sustainability with that amount. Let's see. Stop sharing. Go back. And then. So specifically for 1-year-olds, I wanted to share our flyer of what it looks like for a child, what they might receive in a month. Okay, so you can see this is an example of a 1-year-old child, what they might receive from WIC. We can customize the dairy in the food package based on if they don't like cheese or they don't like yogurt, they can get more milk. Or if they can't tolerate whole milk, we can do lactose-free milk, or we could do soy milk. So there are other options. You can see it's it's based off of giving healthy foods to our participants. So we have each of the food groups that make up our food package. So we have dairy, we have our protein foods, we have our grains, we have fruits and vegetables, so they're all there. And then let's see. And then for children 2 to 5, a little bit different. Let me share the screen here. Okay, so you can see the amounts increase a little bit. The milk decreases from whole milk to fat-free milk or 1% milk, their choice. And then they do continue to get a variety of options for each of the food groups. And let's see. So we do offer yogurt. That's been a relatively new addition to the WIC benefits. And then, like I said, let me go to, sorry. This is our Wic Foods pamphlet. So this is a combination of all the foods that could be eligible for clients to receive on WIC. Now, not every participant receives all of these foods on WIC. It is tailored to a specific client. So like breastfeeding women, for instance, would get the most amount of food of anyone on WIC. Let's see, they get the addition of the tuna and the pink salmon tuna. So they do get that. It's pretty interesting, all the different options they've increased. Let's see, with the fruits and vegetables, you can see it does allow for a lot of different variety size of fruits and vegetables, organic or not organic, frozen or canned. So it does allow for a lot of different options. Let's see, even the cheese they've expanded. They now allow for a lot more varieties of cheeses. And they can get shredded or sliced or blocked or round or cubed. So there's lots of different options with that. Let's see. You know, even the milk has changed a little bit. It used to be you had to get the least expensive brand. Now that's changed. Now they can pretty much get any brand of that type of milk at the store. With the exception of like the soy, there's certain brands that are available there. Let's see. And okay, so let me stop sharing my screen for a minute. Okay, so I just want to touch on a little bit more about our nutrition education that we provide. So we do have a variety of staff that are employed through the Florida Department of Health with a nutrition program. So we do have Jamie Lewis as our director, and then I'm the Brevard WIC coordinator. So and then we have three supervisors that are licensed dietitians, and then we have a public health nutritionist that's licensed. So those staff are the licensed dietitians. And then we also employ nutrition educators who have a bachelor's in nutrition, but maybe they haven't completed their internship, or they might be eligible to sit for the exam, but haven't sat for their exam yet. So we do employ people of different nutritional backgrounds. And then pretty much all of our staff receive nutrition education when they're hired, in the form of a training that goes through the nutrition life cycles. So they do get education about healthy eating. So that way, everyone who comes through with, as far as the participants, does receive nutrition education, healthy eating support from the ground up, And then same thing with breastfeeding. Each of our staff are educated on breastfeeding as well. And it's mandated that federally that we do have a 2-hour annual update every year for breastfeeding. So, we do have, let's see, a lot of different dynamics there with that. And then, so I can talk a little bit about the process of certification. So we talked about the eligibility part. So our senior clerks that we employ, they would do the eligibility part for our clients. And then after that, then they might go see the health support tech to do the height, weight, and hemoglobin. Then they see breastfeeding or lactation. And then they go to see nutrition. So the nutrition staff can be either the licensed dietitian or the nutrition educator. Nutrition educators can see low risk or high risk clients, but not medical high risk. Medical high risk has to be seen by a licensed dietitian. So that's why we do have both on staff. And then the nutrition staff will do a complete assessment with the client and determine their nutritional risks. And then they will set some goals with the client, nutritional goal setting, and educate on healthy eating based on their individual needs, and set a nutrition food package, and then link them with any resources that they might need in the community or support. So that's WIC in a nutshell, I guess. So let's see.
Cara, we do
open up to questions.
Sure, Cara, we do have one question in the chat. And what would be the reason for limiting to specific brands?
In the past, they did this. Well, a good example might be for children, maybe the cereals that have honey in them. We wouldn't want to provide that to anyone that's under 1 year's age. Honey is not recommended for children under 1. So that's a reason why you wouldn't see any honey flavored cereals on WIC. Also raisins, like Raisin Bran is not available on WIC because raisins could be a choking risk under the age of 4. So things like that, so hope that answers a little bit of your question. So it is based on the nutrition regulation. Like we have to have so much of whole grains, and it has to be limited to how much added sugar could be in the cereal. So there's a lot of factors that go into the selection of products for WIC. So they carefully analyze the nutritional level. Like the cereals have to have at least 45% of iron, daily iron in the cereal. So, if a cereal has less than that, it wouldn't qualify. So
Excellent. I don't see any other questions within the chat. If anybody else has any other questions, please unmute yourselves. And while you're doing that, if Angelica has already done so, but if Laurie and Cara could put your email addresses in the chat as well. So if anybody wants to reach out to you individually, they can. Any other
Good morning.
questions?
My name is, yes, I am, I love this program, very informative. And I wanted to know if there is a connection with the schools and WIC program. Or that's something that I hope would happen.
yes, we're actually funded by the same
Sorry,
source.
go ahead.
Yeah, we're both funded by the USDA. The idea is that they could start in WIC, and then once they leave WIC, they would start in the school system for the food.
Right,
program.
I was wondering if information would go out to the parents, the public school children about the WIC availability and vice versa. But I like that the WIC program pamphlet looks like a nice shopping list. It's beautifully done. And the school program, I've seen school lunches and I like how they're presented, very colorful pizza bagel, so that the kids, if they don't like a bagel or pizza, they would want to try it. Very good. And the dietitian program, very good overview, all the presenters.
Oh, great. Thank you. And I did want to mention to you too, that we do put information in front offices regarding WIC. And it's a requirement of some of the programs that we are running in the schools, but it's a good way to promote the WIC program to parents who may not know about it.
Yeah.
And then there are also, students who may have infants or children, and they, a lot of times they are participating in WIC, but if they aren't aware of the WIC program, they're provided that information as well. So that can help them to know, how to take care of themselves as far as healthy eating during pregnancy, and then also how to feed their children. So we do partner with WIC. We also partner with UF Extension.
Great.
And Jamie,
Yeah.
just a little plug here for United Way, just my organization, gotta plug my own team. Just want to share with you that Angelica came to us with a request quite a few years ago to help fund the Try It Tuesday and the programs that you had there. So we did that.
I just wanted to say too, for more information about the Food and Nutrition Services Department, you can go to Brevard Public Schools and go to departments and look for Food and Nutrition Services. So there's more information there about our programs, and there's also nutrition education materials on there too for parents or students. And we also have a Facebook page. So that's Brevard Public Schools - Food and Nutrition Services. So Facebook and Instagram, if you'd like to follow some of the things we're doing there. That's another good place to learn more.
All right, any other questions or comments?
I do have one. This is David.
David.
Cara, specifically, as care navigator in Brevard County, I'm often sending customers to various places and referring them. I can't imagine that I'd ever have a customer that doesn't know about WIC, but should I? What's the best way to refer them to WIC, or should they just register independently?
Yeah, so we have a WIC appointment line phone number they can call, and we have staff that staff our call center, and they will answer any questions that they might have, and do their intake and set them up so that they can schedule an appointment for WIC.
Okay.
So the phone number to call is 321-639-5793.
Thank you.
We also have a WIC website too. It's floridawic.org. So easy to remember, Florida spelled out, and then WIC.org. But there's a lot of resource information on that website. It has all of our handouts that we might use for educational purposes on there. It also discusses eligibility for WIC, frequently asked questions. We now have an app that clients can use for their benefits at the store. It gives them sort of their shopping list on an app, and then they can go to the store and scan barcodes to see if it's a WIC eligible item. So it's become, as you can imagine, a great tool for our clients to navigate the WIC benefits. And then it also lists their next appointment on there. And then the WIC program also recently, in the last 3 years, has launched a health, it's called WIC health appointment. And what it is it's wicchealth.org, and it's all online nutrition education based information. And it's a free benefit to any of our clients on WIC. So what that website has is a bunch of nutrition education topics that are individually, like clients can individually pick to listen to. They can also do it as one of their low risk contacts for WIC. And also there's recipes. There's a whole bank of recipes on there too. So that's been a great added benefit to our program too.
Good, thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments? If there's not, I do have one myself. First of all, I want to thank Angelica, Laurie, and Cara for their presentations. It's very much appreciated, and I think people out in the community will enjoy seeing this. Also, May 6th will be our next one, and that will be a discussion about evaluating health in Brevard. I think is real timely, since many of our health organizations are working on getting that completed right now. So having said all that, thank you again. Much appreciate what you do in the community, and we will post this as soon as we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.